All right, let's dive in. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest challenges in the cloud. How do you manage a flood of user traffic? We're going to figure out how to keep your application fast, super reliable, and always on. Basically, we're going to architect the perfect front door for your apps on Azure. So, picture this. You've built an incredible application. It's a huge hit, people are talking about it, users are flocking to it from all over the place. I mean, this is the dream, right? But with all that amazing success comes a massive technical headache. How in the world do you handle all that attention without your app just falling over?
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, the traffic problem. That one little server that was perfect when you had 100 users, yeah, it's now what we call a single point of failure. We need something way, way smarter to handle all those people knocking at the door.
It's really just a fact of scale. As your traffic explodes, that one server gets completely overwhelmed. It becomes a bottleneck. Suddenly, pages load slowly, people start seeing errors, and that awesome app you built, well, it starts to feel kind of broken. And that's exactly the problem we have to solve.
So what's the solution? It all starts with this core concept, load balancing. Instead of relying on one server, we're going to have a whole fleet of them. A load balancer sits in front and acts like a traffic director, spreading out all the work nice and evenly so no single server gets buried. This is, without a doubt, our most important tool. Let's start by solving this problem inside a single geographic region. Think of it like managing all the traffic in one big city. Now, for this job, Azure gives us two really fantastic traffic cops, and they each have a very different set of skills. First up, we've got the Azure Load Balancer. This one is all about speed. It's your super fast, no-frills traffic director. It works at what we call layer 4, the network level. What that means is it doesn't really care what's in the traffic, it's just looking at the network address. Kind of like a mail sorter, just looking at the zip code. It's absolutely perfect for high-speed, non-web stuff. And then we have the Azure Application Gateway. Now, this is the intelligent director. It operates at layer 7, the application level. That means it actually understands the language of the web. It speaks HTTP. It can peek inside a user's request and make really smart routing decisions based on things like the URL they're trying to visit. Putting them side by side like this really makes the difference crystal clear. Azure Load Balancer, that's your go-to for raw network speed. Think databases, streaming, that sort of thing. But the application gateway, that's purpose-built for the web. It's smarter, and this is huge. It can integrate a web application firewall, or WAF, to protect you from all sorts of common attacks. So the question for you is, are you directing simple network packets or complex web requests? Okay, so we've got our regional traffic sorted out. Our app is running smoothly for all our local users. But real success doesn't just stop at the border. It's time to think bigger. It's time to go global. And that really is the next big question, isn't it? That user in Tokyo is still going to have a slow experience if they have to connect all the way to your servers in New York. The laws of physics are a thing. A regional solution, no matter how awesome it is, just can't solve the problem of global latency. We're going to need a new tool for the job. And that tool, my friends, is Azure Front Door. Think of this thing as the ultimate global concierge for your entire application. It taps into Microsoft's gigantic worldwide network to automatically route your users to the closest, fastest, and healthiest copy of your application, no matter where they are on the planet. Honestly, it is an absolute game changer for global performance. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. You've got your two regional players, Load Balancer and App Gateway. And then you have your global superstar, Front Door. Now notice, Front Door is also a Layer 7 service, just like Application Gateway. But its defining feature, the one thing you need to remember, is that word, global. It's designed to manage traffic between entire continents, not just between servers in one city. So we've built this amazing, resilient, globe-spanning system to handle traffic. But how do people actually find it? I mean, they're not going to type some long, complicated IP address into their browser. They need a simple, memorable name. And that's exactly where Azure DNS comes in. You see, DNS is basically the address book for the entire internet. When a user types yourapp.com into their browser, it's Azure DNS that translates that friendly name into the machine-readable IP address of our application gateway or our front door, pointing them right where they need to go. Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces of the puzzle. Now let's put them together and see how they form a complete real-world architecture.
We're going to trace a single user's request all the way from their browser to our application. And it's so important to remember this. None of this happens by chance. This is a journey that we, as the architects, designed from the ground up. Every single step is intentional, and it's all designed for performance, reliability, and of course, security.
So here's how it plays out. A user types in your domain name. Instantly, Azure DNS points them to your application gateway. But before anything else happens, that integrated web application firewall acts like a security guard and inspects the request for threats. If it's all good, the gateway reads the URL and intelligently routes it to the perfect backend server, which finally serves up the web page. It's just a beautiful, elegant flow.
But wait, what happens if one of those servers just goes offline? Well, that's where health probes are so critical. Your application gateway is constantly pinging your backend servers asking, hey, you still good? You okay over there? And if a server fails to respond correctly, the gateway immediately, and I mean immediately, stops sending traffic its way. It's this system that makes sure your users never, ever hit a dead end. It's the secret sauce to high availability. Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So how do you actually choose? How do you make the right call for your own application? Let's try and boil all this down into some really clear, actionable advice. Here's the big takeaway. Start regionally. Seriously, for almost any web app out there, an application gateway with that WAF turned on is the perfect place to start. It's secure, it's smart. You should only bring in the big guns, Azure front door, when your audience becomes truly global or when you need that ultimate level of disaster recovery between continents. And please, always, always use a custom domain with Azure DNS. It just makes everything better.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to mull over for your own projects. Look at what you're building and ask yourself, is your application's front door built for a quiet local street, or are you paving a global superhighway for users all over the world? Because choosing the right front door is absolutely the first step to building an app that's not just a hit, but one that's resilient and ready to scale.